Happy New Year 2023 is here, and I'm back to vlogging on Fire Life. Fearless individuality yields abundant healing. You see it. I'm taking everything a lot more serious this year in terms of treating everything like a business, even if it doesn't make me money immediately or ever. To be honest, I'm building the habits, I'm building the skills. I'm taking everything that I've learned in the past and elevating and growing and finding new ways to really nurture those skills, as well as develop the habits that I need to, when I get to that new or those higher levels of my businesses, or in my career, in my personal life, that I'm as prepared as possible. Life is always going to throw you life's always going to throw you in the ocean without a life vest if you don't know how to swim. That's just it. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, well, a couple of lessons I learned in 2022 that I'm being mindful of in 2023 and on, is one, surrounding money, two, surrounding patience, and three, mindset. In 2022, my stomach is growling. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm keeping this in. In 2022, I don't know if you've noticed some things different about me. In the smile, yes, I got my teeth done. That'll be a whole different series that I'll get into. I'm not quite ready to talk about that journey yet. But what I recently learned is that when you set your mind, when you have goals, when you have dreams, and you have a vision of how you want your life to be, how you want it to feel, places you want to go, people you want to see, the jobs you want to have, the lifestyle you want to have, you have to put in the work to maintain that lifestyle, to attain that lifestyle, and to change your habits and change your mindset. And what I realized in 2022 is that I was constantly doubting the fact that I could attain certain things in my life. So I would just remove them from my list because I'd be like, oh, it's too expensive, or it's not yet, maybe next year, or I don't think I need it that bad, right? When deep down in my soul of souls, in my gut, my intuition, I knew that these were things that I absolutely couldn't stop thinking about. And my teeth was one of those things. And I'm going to give you a little back story on that. But basically, this time last year, I'd written down everything I wanted to do this year. I need to go find that list, actually. And getting my teeth done was one of those things. And I was pumped. I was like, this is the year I'm going to get my teeth done, because I had chipped teeth. It was over a decade ago. I had an incident and it was bad. And basically my teeth suffered due to that incident, which was out of my control. But either way, I figured this was the year I was going to finally go to the dentist, get it checked out. Midway through the year, not even midway, maybe like a few months in, things were starting to look a little quiet and slower for my business, and I was spending my money in other areas that I thought I needed to be spending. And as I mentioned, business had slowed down quite a bit. So I removed getting my teeth done from the list. Like, I deleted it. I was like, nah, I think I'm just going to wait. So I was putting myself last, basically. I put myself last, and it was one of those things that I just kept thinking about, but I was like, nah. I eventually just forgot about it. Once I took it off my list, I was like, I just have to focus on increasing my business and doing this. And I have a vacation coming up in August, so I need to focus on that and not let anything interrupt that. So this is what I'm referring to in terms of my perspective with finances. So overall, if you don't spend the money, God in the universe is going to spend it for you. And most times, it's not going to be in the way that you envision or how you want to spend it. It's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to challenge you. It's going to stretch you. But ultimately, it's always going to be for the better. Even in those moments where you're stressed out, you don't know how you're going to afford this, you don't know how or why this is happening now, but it's just one of those waves you have to ride and find other ways to, maneuver. If you're surfing, maneuver the board and to stay afloat, and maybe you do go underwater, but you eventually come back up. And that's exactly what happened with my teeth journey. Essentially, I had taken it off the list, I'd forgotten about it, but I knew in my gut and my soul, my intuition, that that's what I wanted. That's all I wanted to do. And I had constantly just pushed it to the side, and ignored it. And nothing was wrong with my teeth, other than the looks, and they were chipped, things like that. They were crooked. I really didn't care. I was okay with that. But I got to a point where I was like, it's time to give this part of my life some attention, to see what options there are. So around July, all of a sudden, one of the two teeth that I was talking about started hurting. Now, in all of my life, I haven't ever had tooth pain, nothing, other than when I got my wisdom teeth pulled out. One of them was hurting, and I was still under my parents' insurance, so I said, take them all out. I don't want to have to come back. But other than that, thank God I haven't had any teeth issues. So what I'm talking about in terms of God is going to spend the money for you, the universe is going to spend the money for you if you don't spend it wisely on yourself. Because the tooth started hurting. I was starting to freak out because I was like, I haven't ever felt pain like this. And the two teeth that were damaged were being held up by a root canal. Long story short, because I will get into the whole teeth journey in other vlogs. Long story short, I needed to get my teeth extracted. So what does that mean? One, I walk around toothless and live with it and barely pay any money. Just go get the tooth removed and go on with my life. And you've seen people that have missing teeth, have compassion for them. It's expensive. Going to the dentist is so expensive. It's ridiculously expensive, even when you have coverage. I don't have the best coverage. I'm actually going to change that. In 2023, I gave myself a month to just cool off from my whole experience, which I'll get into in future vlogs. But basically, dental work is expensive. And I was terrified that I would be slapped with this huge bill that would be due immediately, and that I had no other options, and I couldn't finance. Because if you go back to my older vlogs, I talk about how I'm reestablishing my credit. And I just was in a place where I was like, I can't afford this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I took this off my list because it wasn't in the budget. And I really had to dig deep into my faith, into my inner being, and just trust the process. And as you see, my teeth are done. You kind of got to the end of the story, but there are so many details that went into it. But what I learned from that experience is that if there's something you desire in your heart that you can't shake, and it doesn't have to involve money, it doesn't have to involve a physical change, and maybe it does. It's the new year. A lot of us want to change our habits, build new habits, out with the old, in with the new, right? But when your heart of hearts, your intuition, your soul, your gut is telling you to do something, or this is what we're going to do, or this is what you need, this is what you desire. And for me, it was getting my teeth fixed. And then when you ignore it, how do you feel? How do you feel when you don't put yourself first? And when you allow all these other circumstances to overpower those decisions, and then you're left constantly just delaying your joy, right? How often do you delay your joy? And I was delaying my joy pretty frequently. I was not prioritizing me. Yes, I have a great life. I am blessed. I, you know, am learning myself. I am rediscovering myself. I'm getting back in alignment with who I am today versus who I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 20 years ago. I am a whole new person. And this new person is getting better at knowing what she wants and knowing when she needs it and going for it and doing it and not letting anything hold her back. And I learned that from that experience because I kept saying, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. But the moment I wrote it down, even without a plan, it still happened. So it's like the things that are meant for you are going to find you. And as I mentioned, if there's something you desire and it does cost money, find a way to make it happen. Maybe not tomorrow, but in a year, in 6 months, because I wrote this down in like January. I got my teeth done. The process started for me in July, August. So 7 to 8 months later. So if you commit 6 months or more to just focusing on what you desire and how you want to feel and the changes you want to make, it'll happen. It'll happen. And sometimes it won't it may not happen in the way we envision it perfectly, but it'll happen. And you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to cry about it. You're going to have to scream about it. You're going to have to laugh about it. You're going to have to enjoy it, celebrate it. But it's going to happen. It's going to take work. It's going to be an uphill. It's not going to be a linear journey. But think about what it is or who it is that you want to be, where you want to go, what you want to feel when you're going through those things. And take the steps today to go towards that. It literally is a marathon and not a sprint. Because the times, going back to my patience and being impatient, the times, honestly, every year I've been so impatient, and I'm learning more and more. I'm uncovering parts of me that have been so impatient because I had that scarcity mentality, like it's going to go away if I don't do it now, or I just wasn't planning things out as thoroughly as I needed them to be planned out. And it wasn't planned to perfection. It was just having a little bit more of a foundation to stand on versus kind of just every time jumping into the pool, not knowing how to swim. I know how to swim now. I'm not the best swimmer, but maybe had I taken more lessons, or maybe had I studied the craft a little bit more, would I feel a lot more confident versus constantly taking shortcuts. It's okay to take the long route or the route provided. There's the shortcut route, there's the detour route, and then there's just the straight path route that is given to you. And within that straight route, you're going to hit traffic. You're going to miss your exits. You're going to get into car accidents. You're going to see people you're going to run into things on the road that are going to get in your way. And that comparison is exactly how life is. It's like nothing is perfect. And me being impatient throughout most of my journey has really set me back, in my opinion. And yes, everything is on time. Everything is God's plan. I firmly believe that. But I also I can't help but feel like I set my own self back. I self-sabotaged myself. And now with dealing with patience and having this understanding and this knowledge about myself, I'm taking my time. I just read something today about order. Doing things in order, and not just to do them for the sake of doing them, but doing things in order. Like, When you go to college, you start off as a freshman. You don't instantly just graduate after your freshman year unless you're like a genius. But even then, are you prepared? Do you have the right social skills? Do you have the right tools to navigate the world outside of college? We have to go in order to develop and go through our freshman year, our sophomore year, our junior year, our senior year, postgraduate years, our adulting years. And I got into this mode of very much skipping steps or rushing the process or feeling like if I don't do this now, it's never going to happen. Or when it didn't happen, I would just completely remove it from my list, like my teeth. And I just have come to a place where I don't want anything for me that isn't for me. I don't want anything to be too premature in my life if I'm not prepared for it. I don't want to pursue anything for the sake of scarcity or fear. I don't want to do things because I had the idea in the moment and I just had to get it out of my system. Some things may call for that, but not everything. Everything I was doing, I was operating in that out of impulsivity. And it wasn't the best. Did I get things done? Yeah, but I just constantly felt out of order. So I'm getting back in order to find my version of success. And I did a great job of that in 2022 in terms of just being still, listening, finding meaning behind every lesson and every day and every tear, every laugh, every word I used. And that's been tremendously beneficial to my journey and what I'm taking into 2023 and beyond. And 2023, I'm finding and I'm in my power. It took almost 3 years to get here, and lots of work, coaching, reading. That's another thing I'm going to talk about in future vlogs is I've been reading. If you want to gain confidence in yourself, go read a book. And I don't mean just any book, just for the sake of reading it, because that could be boring. I mean, think of a topic you're interested in or an area in your life where you want to improve in. For example, let's say I want to learn more about cooking. I have no skills in the kitchen. Well, I take that back. I have very minimal skills in the kitchen. Minimal. But if I feel insecure about that, I have options. These are my options. Am I going to sit back and just remain insecure? Or am I going to experiment, research, read, watch videos, ask questions? I cannot stress how curiosity will get you very far in life. Asking questions and seeking the knowledge and the answers will take you further than, in my opinion, any degree or but you have to seek the answers, and then that will give you the confidence that you need to keep on going. And I learned that in my journey in the last few years to getting into this feeling powerful and feeling like I can do anything. My prayers are powerful. God is powerful. And if I just surrender and trust and just keep going, doing the research, asking the right questions, reading, watching, listening. Listening is big too. I realized I'm not a great listener because I'm constantly just like in my own head. So I'm kind of bouncing all over the place right now, but essentially my impatience took me off my path and off my course many a times because I was seeking that instant gratification. I was seeking that need to say I'm doing this thing when it wasn't going the way I thought it would be going. But have I accomplished a lot of great things? Yes, absolutely. It's important that we still celebrate each accomplishment and each loss and each failure, because truly rejection is God's rejection is God's protection. I kept saying that to myself over the Christmas break. I kept saying, because I was stuck at the airport. I didn't want to leave the airport. The cost of taking Ubers back and forth and Lyfts back and forth to my friends and family's homes just to be, around people would have been the same as either getting a hotel and or booking a flight. I was flying standby. I've only done standby 2 or 3 times now. And at this point in time in December 2022, it was a lot of flight cancellations, connecting flights getting canceled and rerouted and rebooked. And when you fly standby, you were at the bottom of that list. So it was a good experience. I learned. But I kept saying rejection is God's protection, and everything happens for a reason. We may not know the reason in that moment. We may not know the reason ever. We just have to continue to trust the process, keep going, and learning, asking questions, being patient. Feel your feelings. I'm going to get into this in another topic, but I was just sitting and I was thinking about, where am I stuck in life, and where can I clear some chaos? And where am I stuck, basically? Where am I stuck mentally that is preventing me from either connecting with myself, with the world, with my career? What am I holding on to that has been kind of holding me back? And I'm definitely going to talk about this in future episodes, especially surrounding like grief and loss and how to handle those situations and healing through those moments of loss, and whether it's expected or unexpected. But basically, I was moving things around in my house. I'm currently in the process of moving rooms around and creating an office space for myself, a real one. And I had this chair that I'm sitting on in the middle of my hallway because it didn't fit into the room that I thought it would fit in. Such is life, right? So now it's back in my room. Anyway, I was sitting in the middle of my hallway in this chair. No one was home. It was quiet. I didn't even have music on. And I just went through the last 5 years of my life, especially the last 3 years. And I just went through the timeline from the moment I, quit my job. I started my own business. 2023 is year 5. I'm in my 5th year of running my own business, and that is no small feat. I'll probably do something to celebrate. I think it calls for it. But basically, I was sitting there and I was going through it each and every year. I was like, okay, 2008, 18, I did, I quit. I started, living at, taking care of Nana and doing all these things and taking care of family and just being more present. And it was great. It was an adjustment. And I just dove straight in, barely looked up. 2019 rolls around, and I'm still taking care of Nana, and then all of a sudden, like, she gets sicker, and then she's gone. And I realized in that space and time, from that moment to today, I had never processed that whole moment entirely. I just was like, oh, I didn't like how I felt my first year of business, so I'm going to go do the complete opposite. Versus in the last 3 years, taking time to find that happy medium, I just stayed in that extreme of, no, I don't want to work. I don't want to do that much work. I don't want to miss out on anything. I don't want to miss out on experiences, moments, memories, and all of that. So as I was sitting there, and this was maybe like December 20th or something like that, 2022. And in the moment I got to when Nana passed away, I couldn't even control it. Like, tears just started running down my eyes. And I didn't wipe them. I saw something online, I think it was Jay Shetty, or I absorb so much internet, I can't even keep track of who says what. But he said something about even when we wipe our tears, it's like we're denying all the emotions that are flowing through our body versus just letting them fall and drip and be messy. It's like, we're trying to remove the pain. And so I just sat there like in the chair like this, thinking and just reflecting about that whole time and how, yes, I accepted the reality of it. That part I accepted and was okay with. But I didn't realize how much I had been hurting and in pain at losing my person, which actually created this impatient person, or it really just brought out the impatient person in me, because I was just not wanting to feel any hurt anymore. I didn't want to feel any hurt. And I had just constantly just been avoiding all of the things that were hurting me. I was constantly avoiding all the things that were uncomfortable for me. And I'm grateful for that, because it did allow me to take a step back and pause and be still. Stillness is the move. That's going to be my next tattoo, I swear. But it caused me to be still. And then the pandemic hit, and I didn't even process that. So as I reemerge now in 2023, with all of that in mind, and with the idea that, okay, we can't rush pain, we can't rush hurt, we can't rush healing, we can't rush the order, we can't rush God's plan. And when I feel something, it's okay to just live in that for more than just one journal entry, for more than one video, or for more than one, or for, waiting for a show to make me cry. Like, all of those feelings live in me. And it's just up to me to allow them to live or to leave. So I learned a lot in 2022, and into 2023, it's all about my power. Finding it, honing it, developing it, nurturing it, caring for it, and taking everything more serious, running everything like a full-fledged business, as if I'm already making 5 figures a week. You know what I mean? And not deprioritizing myself anymore. I'm reprioritizing myself. I am prioritizing myself. I'm already telling myself I am qualified, I am capable, even when I'm not. I'm saying it until it happens. And I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to take the time. I'm going to feel the feels. I'm going to cry. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to celebrate, and bring you all along with me on this journey. And I'm grateful for this time, for this moment, for this day, a whole new year. New year, new me, new blessings. New year, same me. Whatever your choice. It's your choice. But for me, it's one day at a time. I'm being patient. I'm trusting the process. I'm surrendering. I'm letting go of the outcomes. That's a whole other topic. But stay tuned. But for now, consistency is the key. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for, if anyone watched this far, comment in the comments, fur coat. You're probably asking, like, why fur coat? Well, I'm currently looking at Nana's fur coats right now. And in a way, it's like she's here with me through this journey. She's always with me, but her fur coats have significant meaning. So if you're watching up until this point, I thank you. I appreciate you. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button, follow button, wherever you're watching this. Fire Life, Fireside Chat, Fearless Individuality Yields Abundant Healing. Life is a blessing. Just know that. And stillness is the move. So until the next one, I'm out.